Patrick walked into prison way too young, still barely grown, but the system didn't care. Behind those gates, age doesn't mean shit. Only race, alliances, and what you're gonna do when the wolves circle you. So he did what a lot of young dudes do when they hit the yard with no backing. He joined up with the GDs, aka the gangster disciples, and started putting in that work. And that's when the real education started. Not the Harvard or the Yale kind. I'm talking blood on the tears, steel on skin, survive or get silenced type schooling. He saw violence at a level most people couldn't stomach for 5 seconds, but to him, it became normal, routine.
Same old shit, dog. It's a different day.
But somehow deep in his bid, the noise changed. All the stabbings, the missions, the politics, it hit him that none of that was gonna matter if he never walked out again. That his family, the ones waiting on the outside, were the only real reason to keep pushing forward. And suddenly, that young kid who came in wild started fighting for something bigger than a color, a card, or a gang. This is his story, raw, unfiltered, and straight from the heart of the street to the cell, where you either grow up fast or you don't last. This is DOC TV Unleashed, and this is the story of what change looks like. What's up, everybody? I'm Blessed and Free. Welcome back to another episode of DOC TV Unleashed. I got a great guest for you. This guy's done some interviews on some other YouTube channels. He's got a crazy life story, and that's exactly what I do on this channel. I bring people on that have came from the bottom, man, that have lost everything in life, had nothing, went to prison, lived a crazy life, but are out here trying to change and become better people in society. That's what I do on this channel. So if you like that type of content, before we get started today, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn your post notifications on. You already know. So every time I drop an episode, you can hear it first. All right, man, for the people that don't know who you are, if you could just introduce yourself, tell them your name, where you're from, and we can go ahead and jump right into your story.
All right, cool. Yeah, my name's Patrick McCombs, but everybody calls me Packy around, because of my dad, where I'm from.
All right, man. So can you give the people a little bit of idea about what Patrick's life was like growing up, man?
Yeah, so, okay, I came from, like, a really good family, but also we were kind of like the shameless family, like the Gallaghers, domestics. Everybody had addiction and alcoholism. It was kind of fun growing up because even on, like, school nights, it would be parties, and at my house, and I'm just kind of hanging out with me and my little brother, video gaming, my uncles, and everybody at the house. But as I got a little older, I realized that was going to be a part of my life. I just didn't realize it, and I'm not blaming it on them, but I definitely was around it. And when I was 6 years old was the year I would say my story starts, is where I had some serious shit happen. I lived on Chestnut Street on the east side, and I'm from Warren City, by the way. It's a little suburb of Youngstown, Ohio. So we lived over there, and I had my neighbors that was like babysitting me. And long story short, there was one boy and there was all the sisters, siblings, and each time I got a different experience, you know what I'm saying? Well, one of them, something was going on with me and her. She was 13, so for like 3 years, we was, messing around as a kid. I just didn't know back then that was going to become like a trauma thing for me, and it can mess up the way your brain works because a kid's not supposed to like experience, finishing and whatnot.
Right.
And so that all went on. And then that same year I had a home invasion, and some dude was running from the cops. He kicked our door in. He actually got a head start on the cops, kicked our door. They heard screaming and found the wood on the porch. They came in. By this time, my mom's already got me under the, on the garbage. And the dude ran upstairs. Big, tall, black dude. He's bugged out of his mind. I can't get that image. I still could see it, like right now. This dude, we're face to face.
How old were you when this happened?
I was 6.
Damn, bro. That's traumatic, bro, for a kid to see.
It was fucked up. My pops thought I was doing it. He kept yelling, going, "What are you doing, Pac? What are you doing?" Yeah, because he's hearing this banging, and it's like just getting louder and louder.
Like, I'm not doing nothing. Some bugged out black dude.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
Man, he ends up coming in, running up. 2 plainclothes officers come in. One in the front, one in the back. They got hand cannons out. We're freaked out, not even knowing they're the cops. Then they say that they are. So, long story short, he goes upstairs. My pops hears him outside. on the roof. So he runs out the back. They get to fighting. All these other cops jump on him. That was that. But then he got 10 years in prison, and he ended up writing like an apology letter to me and shit. This was in 96. I don't know where that dude's at. You know, I've talked about this online before. I don't know if he ever seen it, if he's even still alive. He was like 20 something, so he probably is still alive. That was in the 90s. But
He's
that
probably
was
just bugged out on drugs, bro. Maybe he does feel bad about it. You know what I mean?
He was smoking that 1990s hard. That's what it was. I already got the details.
That drop.
That drop, man. Yeah. That was part of it.
So you grew up in a pretty traumatic home environment, it sounds like. So from growing up from that, and now you're progressing into becoming a teenager, when was it that you experienced your first arrest?
So 14, I started, I jumped off the porch, so to speak. We had our little clique, Eastside Boys over here. It's like, and then NSP, Northside Players. There's like 12 little cliques at our high school at Warren G. Harding, and they all progressed into actual organizational, they all kind of separated and became folks and Bloods up under the 6 and the 5 and all these different, like, in our city. But it was kind of probably watered down compared to bigger cities. Right. But everybody wants to be that. So that played a part of it. I'm kind of just trying to be cool and fit in. We'd all be like 20 of us in a group with, throwing up gang signs and whatnot. So that was part of it. And then I just thought that shit was cool, but it wasn't. At like 15, a year later, well, that year I actually got some action from myself, I would say, at 14, and not counting the other shit. I tried yay that year, some white, I started drinking, rolling, doing X. About a year later at age 15, I found myself in JJC for the first time going domestic and truancy. I wouldn't go to school. My little brother had just passed away. He was 6 years old and I was 15, and it just fucking destroyed me. And like, crazy. I gave up, quit caring. So I wouldn't go to school. I had an argument with my mom and my grandma. They was chasing me with spatulas around the house. And I ended up pushing my mom on the couch. My uncle came in. They tackled me. Yeah, man, I went to jail and barefooted. They wouldn't even let me put my shoes on.
Damn, that's savage.
Yeah.
So, man, what was that experience like, getting locked up for the first time?
I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous, dude. I was like kind of scared. I got in there. I had my cousin Stevie was in there. Shout out to him. Much love. People were clowning when I first got there. I didn't have no shoes. And I had a 17-year-old bunkie. His name was Darius, black kid. He was actually waiting to go to DYS, I think. And when I stepped out, everyone starts laughing. Like, this dumb motherfucker forgot his shoes. This is like the first few minutes that I'm in there. My cousin, I hear a familiar voice. He's a few doors down. I was in like cell 14. I think it's like 40, 20 on each side for the guys and girls. So like 80 total. And it makes like an L shape. This is our downtown jail. Well, when this is going on, I hear that voice. I look over and he's telling them, hey, that's my cousin. Everybody shut the fuck up. And him and Corey Blackwell, a lot of people from our area also know him. He said the same thing. Like, hey, y'all chill. Y'all all had your first day too, So that was cool. And around this time, the COs were telling us all to shut up because you're not supposed to talk. That was my introduction to it, but nothing crazy happened. I was only in there for 3 days. On Monday, I went to see the judge. They gave me house arrest, verbal house arrest, and probation, which then I would climb out my window and just run around and do what I want. I'd lock my door, turn my music low, and just go run around and have fun. My mom ended up catching on, but she didn't tell my PO.
When was it that you caught the charge that sent you to prison, man? And how did all that go down?
2016, I had already been addicted to things because 2011, my son was born. They gave my fiance now 60 perk 5s. We've been together since we were 16 and 14. I left that out. 2006, we got together. We were kids, stayed together. Fast forward, age 21, that happens. Boom, we figure out we're addicts. Up until I was 21, I never did anything but some white here and there, smoking and drinking and like mushrooms and shit, but never no hard stuff. So at this point now, my brain starts going. Now I'm starting to burn plugs, people that trust me.
Well, what are you addicted to at this point?
Pills, but up until then,
opiates?
Yeah, opiates.
Okay.
And I was making some money, nothing crazy, but enough to support me and my girl and at the time I was making money enough to like pay bills, but then I bills and I started not caring about profit. Now that's where what you just said would fit in. Now I'm like, well, fuck this. I'm gonna try to get everybody I know to front me, or they all trust me, but no one knew I had just became like a demon in my mind with that. So I started just burning bridges, getting high. Fast
Means
forward,
necessary to get it right.
yeah, bro. You know how, I mean, I don't know if you ever dealt with that, but I know.
Yeah, I did the same exact thing, bro. So I know I know where it goes, and I know all every bad thing you can do. I did it while under the influence of opiates.
I've been watching a lot of your interviews. I haven't really saw too many yet. I have to check more out.
Yeah, I need to do more personal stories on this channel, but I'm going to start doing that. But enough about me, man. This is about you. So, I just wanted to clarify. At this point now, when you get locked up, you are affiliated, right? So when you go into these blocks, you are finding your people. Is that how it works in Ohio?
Yeah. So, more or less, I was leading all that up to when I was 26. I caught my first case. All through that time, I had like 12 or 13 county jail bookings. I think it was 13. And they're probably about a year altogether. But I never, added up. But I never been to prison. So I catch this case, assault on a police officer. They come in my room, snatch me out of bed. I elbow them in the face. It's a story behind why that happened, but to answer what you asked me, that was one case, and the other one I had a robbery. I was out on bond for that one. So my mom and my girl paid $1,000, got me out, and then like 13 months later, I'm still on bond. They're telling me you're gonna go to prison. So I crashed out thinking if I get away with anything now, then the joke's on them, because when I go to prison on Wednesday, it won't matter. This is on Friday, but I get caught. So now I go to court in oranges, and the judge is like, hey, I just seen you, you've been coming to me in plain clothes, and now you're in oranges. Right. He sentences me. I go to prison. They indict me, bring me back. So I did 7 years. And yes, when I get there, I'm already in my mind knowing like I never really felt official, even though everybody around here was, everybody was doing their thing on the east side and everything. Right. I was like, this is the big boy league. So
you never like really met any big OG homie, right? You were like dealing with just these little sets.
But yeah, exactly right. It didn't feel like I knew they would want it to feel to say we come home, Right. So it was kind of like stressful, but I pulled up and they was cool about it. I explained it to them, and now I said I'm not very familiar with literature yet, but if you ask around, people will know me. They're like, all right. So the process started from there. And then they was cool. But every prison, I got a different experience, because some places it felt kind of racist with white folks. Like it was like a division amongst the white dudes and the black dudes, but not every.
Same with like Bloods and white boys being Bloods. It's like that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In Ohio, that's kind of rare. I've heard that. Now, we got a lot of white Crips. We got a lot of white GDs. There are some white Bloods, but they got to be like a fucking maniac or something.
Yeah, Florida is fucking, bro. I've seen 50% are white, like at Bloods.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I don't know if they're really official, so I don't want to put that number out there because someone will probably comment some shit. But you get sentenced to 7 years total off both of those charges that they got you on. The
6 years
first one? Okay. So what prison did you first roll up to, man?
So I went from the county to Lorraine, and then I actually started at Richland, a level 2. And that place, it's just kind of like a fun party place. And there's 2 bad blocks out of 8, which was 3 upper and 5 upper, the dirty nickel, which I did, some of my bid in there. But if you're in them other blocks, it's like an average prison. And if you're in those 2 blocks, it's like you're in a completely different prison. So they purposely put like gang members, anybody STG, they try to do that because they want to keep the prison as mellow as they can, but let these blocks be fucked up. That makes sense. Up getting going to a couple different spots, and once I got leveled up, that's when I seen like prison for real, which is
leveled up as in how?
So I ended up going to level 3 for disciplinary. I had my 4 points. I had a bunch of fights. I actually got like a bunch of tickets right here. Conduct reports.
So what were you fighting over, man? Like gang politics?
Yeah, some of it was that.
Your own brothers?
Yeah, we would get into shit with other people.
Why does so many gangs like to fight each other? I don't get that.
That happened too, but for me it was violations, getting beat on by my own guys for shit that I was doing. See, along the way I got
like what?
And I started partying.
So okay, drugs, getting fucked up.
Yeah, they would come to me like, hey, so and so saying this, and then you owe them this or something, just some maggot shit. I'll be like, all right, well, what do you want to do? We're gonna go catch the ones? They'd be like, yeah, but then It's hands laid, debt paid. Then they'd come back mad. So now they're mad at me, and they're willing to go hurt this guy for me, but then they're also going to come hurt me. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of
double-edged sword.
Yeah.
How many white GDs are in your set at this prison?
Okay, at Lebanon, use that as an example. We had 21 or 23 of us in E. Edward, but the whole prison, probably like upwards of 600, because it's a disciplinary, and there's about 2,800 inmates there. 2,800 convicts.
600 GD or folk are there, and 23 are white.
Oh no, I'm saying as far as white, probably 40%. It's probably like 60.
Oh, okay, all right.
But it's a lot. I wouldn't say half, but close to half. And they're actually respected there, and it's understood that we're a reflection of each other now. In some prisons, like in Lake Erie, it wasn't like that. I had a horrible experience, feeling like it was Kill Whitey, to be honest. But at Lebanon, it wasn't like that. And it was just a whole different program. They had it where we all would move as one to go to chow. We had our own chow hall because there's 3. We would go to that third one. Nobody looked at it as a race thing. They would have one white dude and one black dude go on missions together, shit like that. Like example, when I actually got the worst violation I ever got, which is the day I went off count, it was one white dude, one black dude. It was white folks, Yuck Mouth, and black folks, Mike G. And they did the 2-on-1 for 60 seconds, cracked my rib, and fucking gave me a concussion. But that's just an example.
For what? What was that for?
Me asking to fall back, because I was just, man, I was, at this point, I went through the ring.
They fucking beat your ass because you wanted to just fall back and try to, you ride your bid out, without politicking, basically.
Yeah, my girl was on my ass. See, by this time, I was close to my end of my bid. I think I had about 2 years left. I was on my 5th year. I'm always calling from the hole. I'm always sending home videos with black eyes. I'm always asking her for money. And they were kind of sick of my shit, but they were also dealing with it because we're not supposed to even really use drugs or definitely not take debts. But I would see a lot of other people doing it and they would ask them to go write an essay, or they would ask them to go run 6 laps, do a PT physical workout. But then for me, they'd be like, oh, we got to give you 6 mouth shots, or we got to give you 6 ribs. Like that. And
were the other dudes white, or were they black that were getting
both? That's what I'm saying. It wasn't just white dudes. So I got to rephrase that. At that prison. Yeah. At that prison, it wasn't really like that. But yeah, at Lake Erie, it was favoritism, so it just depends on that. But It was fucking crazy. My first day there, they asked me to go on, they more or less was like, hey, I know you know everybody, all the guys, but we didn't see it. So we want to know if you're going to go do this. Wicked asked if you'll go do this. I'm like, yeah, I got it. So when I said that, this dude Shit Truck, who ended up being one of my close homies, he said, I want to go with you. So he volunteered. They said, all right, you're lucky because since he's offering, we're just going to let him go. So he shadowed me. I'm only there for 5 hours. So they asked me to run in this dude's cell on the 2nd tier. This spot got 3 tiers. So we run in there. I go in first. He comes in behind me. We just beat on him for an unknown amount of seconds. I don't know. It felt like forever, probably 20 seconds. And we come out. When we come out, everybody's watching on the range. Every other organization, white dudes, black dudes, everybody. Even the COs, I think, knew what was up. Everybody but him. But that's a good thing because I've only been here a few hours, and now they're all watching. They're all kind of looking at me, random people.
Put in work.
Yeah, they've seen I just got off the bus. But so that was good on my part. But it wasn't all fun there because I ended up going down the fucking rabbit hole, man. I ended up, I got super strung out, and I was 160 pounds.
On
and
what? On what?
Strip.
Yeah,
that smoking, drinking. And strip bad. I got bad.
How do you lose the weight and get strung out on Suboxone though?
Quit eating. Is that a thing in Florida?
Yeah, bro, it's everywhere. But I mean, I never heard of somebody just. I guess though, if you can't get it multiple days and you're going high, dope sick, high, dope sick, high, then you're not eating because then you're never normal. That's
part of it, but also I would always spend my money on that. So if I called home and my girl be like, I got this 50 for you or something, I'd say, all right, send it to this Cash App. She'd be like, why don't you put it on your books? Don't you go to the store in 3 days? I'll be like, Yeah, but I'd rather buy this. So now come store day, instead of having all these good food and snacks, I'm still got my gears rolling, trying to just get high. And, you know, I'm paying this debt to borrow back from this guy. I just was fucking strung out. And I felt like I had to have the strip the whole bid.
How many were you doing? Like, how much Suboxone a day would you do?
Like a quarter a day. You know,
damn, and how do you that fucking strung out, huh?
Man, see, dude, what's crazy is a lot of people don't understand. In them smaller doses, it's a completely different substance. Like out here, I'm on 3 a day. I take them and I don't
feel three full strips a day.
Yeah, but in there,
damn dog, I would be fucking so sick. I've been on Suboxone. I've been on a strip a day before, and but once I made my mind up that I didn't want to do it anymore, it was a month of hell. But then it got better. You know what I'm saying? But in prison, I never used anything on any of my bids. I was more like workout militant, you know, program that way versus trying to sell drugs and do drugs, because that. Bro, in Florida, you just get stabbed. Like, they'll stab your whole face up. You know what I mean?
I've been hearing about a lot of shit about it.
So, I would just want to be on point at all times.
That makes sense. See, a lot of the shit that I went through in Ohio, I'm not, like, we got 33 prisons, I think, 30, and they use them. They are definitely using them, and a lot of them are pretty crazy and well-known here around here as notorious prisons. But even with that being said, I feel like in Florida or some of these other states, Alabama, maybe, whatever, I might not even have made it through the situations the way I did. I feel like it would have been a whole nother, you know, the way it played out.
Florida's crazy, especially with the Suboxone. It's everywhere. And fentanyl's everywhere. Meth, Molly.
Yeah. You guys got jacks down there a lot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Too. That's one thing we're known for is you can get cheap phones from $300 to $500 to $800 to $1,200.
Yeah, that's about how much they are. Depending, finger phones you can get for like a $250 or something.
Right. Exactly. To beat the bosses, we call them.
When you were in Ohio, man, and all this is going on to you, like when you're in prison, especially after this beating you took by 2 of your brothers for the DP or the violation, are you feeling at any point like, man, I don't want to do this gang shit anymore?
Yeah. So towards the end, you know, at this point, I had already called myself, you know, folks since age 15, and now I'm in my 30s, and my girl's saying, look, the same shit that I liked about you as a bad boy when I was a 14-year-old girl and you were 16, she said, that same shit that I loved, I despise now because we have 3 kids. She said, you are still doing it. You're in prison. Now you're doing it even more in prison. She said, are you going to come home and bring that life to us, for one? And for 2, you sound brainwashed. She said I would say things and do things that felt like I'm putting them before anything. And at the time, maybe I was, but I had to snap out of that. So this was kind of coming from her, though. And it was me, too, but she was pushing me to say, like, I really want
She planted the seed.
Person. Yes, she planted that fucking seed. And it worked. So and what's crazy is I ended up going to Trumbull Walls for the Flying High program. It's 5 minutes away. And at that time, I actually kind of slowly got back into that. Not very crazy. But as soon as I got off the bus, STG was messing with me and was like, oh, well, we know you live close. I know what you are and this and that. And then from that point, it kind of spread around and people were coming up like, oh, I know you because it's in our city. So I kind of got pulled back into that life. But nothing super crazy happened. I only had a couple months left, you know, so. What
was the craziest day that you went through your whole 7 years you did?
Craziest day?
Yeah.
Pick a big one. Now, you mean with me or stuff I've seen?
Just anything like violence you saw or were a part of, anything as far as like corruption with staff, deaths, rapes.
So I could throw a few quick short ones. One I seen, well, stuff with me would have just been like crazy fights, going to the whole, we had a fight in the Lancaster bathroom with some Bloods. They came in, had us outnumbered with mouthpieces and shit. Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
I know. I've seen where you wrap the fingers and do the boxing thing and everything.
But in I-Dorm, they have this big-ass bathroom, and it's like the Thunderdome.
The grid.
That was kind of a fucked up experience. Seeing this CO get beat to shit. Like, one dude was on the phone, he had his jacket, and he was jacking on the phone. And the CO said he kept looking at him. Maybe he was, but he's on the phone with this girl. She tells him, take the jacket off. He's like doing this, trying to fix himself, and he stands up. She hangs up the phone, he punches her, breaks her jaw. The other girl, they had 2 females in there for the whole dorm. She tries to jump on him, and then she tries to spray him. He grabs it, so he done broke her jaw, and now he's spraying both of them. And then they hit a signal 3-man down. All the staff come in. That was kind of like crazy. But the worst probably would be at Lebanon on Christmas Day. This dude came out the room. He was doing a long bid. I actually done a video on this and explained like how I was there when this happened. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I heard all the commotion and shit. Because there's 3 tiers there, and we just heard like combat boots slapping and signal 3 and all this screaming. But what it was is he came out, tried to use the phone. They sent him back in the room, and she said, now I'm searching your cell. I know y'all got some shit. Merry fucking Christmas. And he was like, why won't you just leave me alone? My people wouldn't answer the phone. It's Christmas Day. And this is all on body cam. Like, you can see it. He ends up, the CO comes up and grabs him all aggressive. So he blasts him, dude, and drops him, knocks him out. But then he starts stabbing both of them. So he bugged out, you know what I mean? And they put us on lockdown for 7 days over that. Yep. Lebanon was
That's crazy. He knocked him out and then started stabbing him. Like, that dude
knocked dude out and then stabbed the girl and him. Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy though. You mentioned the dude that got the officer hung up and he got up and broke her jaw. I saw the exact same thing in my county jail, bro. Dude broke it was a woman officer too. And honestly, bro, I don't know. I kind of felt like, dude, that's still a woman at the end of the day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like it.
She's being a cunt. I get that. But like, spit on her or something. You know what I'm saying? That, I don't know. That's a little overboard to me.
We got a CO Phillips. Shout out to her. I mean, I don't want to go, I don't think it would matter, but I'm not even going to say what prison it was. But this chick was pretty cool. Everybody fucked with her because she stood up for herself. So she was respected enough that the whole block got mad at this dude because he was on tune, smoking tune. They get to fighting, and she's like defending herself, punching him. But then he starts punching her back. Now she's trying to spray him, and he just was blasting her. I did see that with my own eye. And she broke up a fight for me and my bunkie. She ended up popping the door and said, I'm going to spray you guys, and we just backed off because we'd already went like 3 rounds, but she caught us right in the middle of the 3rd round. That's another crazy feeling, is fighting somebody locked in the room. It's different if you go in like, all right, me and him are going to go in here and fight.
Life or death.
It's different. But when the door's shut and locked, it literally could be life or death. And this dude,
it can. Quick, too. Looking back now today on all this, all the time that you did and everything that you witnessed and went through, what is your whole take on the prison system? Do you think that you can go to prison and rehabilitate yourself and come out and be successful? Or do you think that they make that hard? And what's your experience been like?
So I do think it's possible to an extent, but I think it's set up for failure if you don't want it. And because the way it's set up with the partying, I'll first say here in Ohio and probably other states, they'll give you a number for anything. They'll send you down for 30 days and give you a F5, give you 30 days, let you out on a judicial release and say, all right, you're on parole for 3 years. But that's because they wanted to give you that number. So they're using...
And when you say number, for the people that don't understand, you mean the convicted felony.
Yeah, your like how your name's DOC.
Right, DC number.
Corrections number. Yeah, for anybody that didn't know, like that's they'll give you a DOC number and they want you to be a convicted felon. But I feel like, man, the way it is, like most of the time I just had fun. I partied. I was with kicking it with our guys. We're on phones, smoking, drinking, bumping music. The staff's like this with their newspaper because they don't want to deal with the shit. Yeah. That's cool and all. But when years start falling off the calendar and you're not doing anything, and some of these prisons don't even have programs. Now, some do. Some have them. They try to help you. But if you don't want it, it's not going to rehabilitate you. You're going to end up being, and it's sad to say, but I've seen a lot of people, I know you have too, go in and out, in and out. I've been home for 2 years, but I know people who have been back 2-3 times on violations since I've been home. They just don't want it, man. And it's like, but I do feel like they should do more programs. I don't feel like they send everybody to prison. Some people are mental health caseloads. Some people got addiction, and instead they try to just, boom, one night,
put them all together.
Exactly. I've had bug outs as bunkie. I mean, I'm a caseload too, but I'm also like where I can.
He said I'm a caseload too.
I am.
At least you own it, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got diagnosed with bipolar type 2 and PTSD and paranoid personality disorder, which is different than the other one. A lot of people
hear that split personality. Yeah,
that's not it. Yeah, it's what. Well, anyways, I actually got to plead not guilty by reason of insanity, and that's how I fought that first case for 13 months because they were about to send me to the hospital, but I actually said I don't know if I want to do that, so I stalled the process, and then at the last second, he was like, "If you go here, you'll sit for up to 7 years." And if they still find you competent, they could still send you to prison. I'm like, yeah, fuck all that. He was like, well, you might get like a couple years.
Yeah.
But crashed out and that other shit happened. So I used it to my advantage, but you got people who should be in what they call RTU unit here in Ohio. The bunkie I was fighting with that I said was doing like 18 years, he would sit there and have full-blown conversations with himself.
Yeah, he shouldn't be a bunkie with him. Like he should be in a psych ward.
Earbuds out, dude. They're identical. I was going to show you. Imagine the yellow GTLs. Do you guys got those?
What earplugs for like when you're sleeping?
The mic, do they give them to you with the tablets, the yellow GTL earplugs?
Yeah. Yep.
Or earbuds.
Earbuds, yeah. I thought you were talking about earplugs.
Oh, my bad. That's my fault. I probably said that. We both had brand new pairs, but he tried to say I switched them because he wrote a dot or black dot.
Oh, he was a bug, bro. He's one of those fucking idiots.
He's like, you switched them. I said, if both my sides work and both your sides work, why does it matter if I even set them down? Turn around and you grab mine. What's the difference? I said, look, mine work, yours work. Here's my package. Here's your package. They're fucking like 3 days old, dude. They're brand new. What's the deal?
Bro, he's the bunkie. You'll have 20 soups in your locker. He'll have one. He'll eat it, and then you'll go back to your bunk, and he'll be like, dude, you took my only soup.
Exactly. You know exactly what
I already know, bro. They're like, bug the fuck out. It's like,
you got the mouth, man.
Bug spray.
Yeah, I popped him. We got to fighting, but it wasn't just because he was like 45. So I wasn't, he was like 15 years older than me, but it was the way he was so mean and aggressive. He was kind of stocky for, his good shape. I just popped him, but then we got to wrestling and the second round. Mind you, this is in 4 p.m. count. Actually, like I said, I got the tickets right here, and it reads, I came to the door. They were out of breath.
I know you have a social media. You're working on multiple different platforms now. So what is your take on social media now that you're out and you're getting involved in it? And where can the people find you on social media? And what are your plans for your social media?
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate you for this. So when I first came home, my girl said there's a whole genre of people that want to watch people who, with their transformation. I posted a video. It did go kind of viral, and then it ended up getting like 1 million views. That's how I got all the other shows came, as one by one. But my take on it would be like, honestly, this has helped me stay free. I feel like talking about prison every day has not allowed me to forget. I don't get complacent. And it's actually kind of a fun hobby. Now, you have to be a people person and comfortable on camera. But yes, we're grateful. I just checked today. We got like 82K followers between Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. But it's been a year and a half. That's not all on one. That's like each one.
That's good, man. That's really good.
It's the name is Packy Visions TV, though, for anybody wondering.
You're going to send me the links to all your platform, and I'll put them in the description of this video. That way, if you guys want to go check them out, go follow them, go support them. Small content creation when you're starting out is not easy, and we need all the support we can get. So liking the videos, subscribing, just a comment on the video helps the video. So definitely go check them out. The links will be in the description. What's your thoughts on the YouTube genre for prison, man? Like, what do you think of the whole?
Found you with among other people my first week home. I'm surfing prison stuff. I'm showing my girl Lebanon because they got documentaries on. Yeah, for Ohio in 2006 they went to 5 prisons, so I was able to show her like this is where I was just at. But once I did that, my algorithm changed. So I got people like you, Joe Guerrero, you know, all the names I named earlier, all the podcasts.
How'd you find me? Just scrolling through YouTube feed?
Yeah, I'm on there.
Okay, good. So they're
you know, I actually saw one of them, I want to say Mike first, and then I seen it. I dropped a comment, but the comment I didn't drop till a few months ago because I never knew back then I'd be trying to do this. I was just
right.
And I seen like I would.
That's how I started, bro. Just watching.
Yeah. Did you ever think you would pick up the phone and be like, I'm gonna go ahead and tell my story?
I always knew that I wanted to, and I have a crazy story to tell. The time I started watching it was when it was 1090J, K-Frog, Pino, Lockdown 23-1, and then all that drama and all that beef shit. And like, I'm kind of like Pino, bro. Like, if there's going to be drama, I just would rather fight, get it over with. And I don't want to make videos back and forth. So when they started doing all that, I was like, man, this is definitely not my, like, I don't want to get involved in all that bullshit. I just wanted to come on and tell my story and try to learn how to edit and make documentaries and shit like that. So eventually that's what I started doing, and it blew up pretty quick. And then
hell yeah, I like that idea and I like Lockdown and K-Frog. Yeah. And shout out Cuzzo Costo, my homie. He got me help put on with a couple people. I know you know him.
Yeah, I've interviewed him 3 times on my old channel. I used to talk like daily for I think like a year. Yeah.
We've been doing people. Yeah, he is good people. We talk at least.
Yeah, shout out to you, Cuzzo. He'll probably watch this, so
he will. He'll see it. We talk all the time. Yeah, man, and we live like an hour away. We've been talking about meeting up, doing like in-person interviews.
Yeah, that would be better.
Drama and some. I mean, I ain't gonna get into no negative shit, but I had a situation with another creator, and I'm not even gonna get into it. And during that process, it reminded me of what you just said. Even though the shit's done now. You know, at one point it was coming to the point where I thought we were gonna end up fighting because we lived nearby, but then they ended up playing shit. They live like 10 minutes away.
Well, a lot of this shit is just like people just want to go back and forth and make videos about each other because they like that. That's fun to them. That's not fun to me. You know what I'm saying?
Me neither. I'm not doing
different.
I agree with you, Josh. Yeah, I'm trying to be on some more positive shit, but I'll deal with it as it comes. But if I get trolled and shit like that, I got thicker skin now.
Yeah, and you got to defend yourself too. Now, if someone makes some shit and saying some crazy, you got to defend yourself. But at that point, then it's like, well, if you made a video, you don't like me and you have a problem, I know many gyms that we can go in and sign a waiver and we will not get arrested, straight boxing, whatever, and just get it over with instead of that back and forth. And it's hard, honestly, bro, to grow on YouTube if you're not doing that type shit because everybody's doing it. But listen, I wanted to thank you for coming on the channel. You guys, all the links to his social media be in the description. After you go do that, don't forget to like this video and drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you're interested in coming on this channel and what state or country are you watching from. And again, please hit that subscribe button and turn your post notifications on all so every time I do drop content, you can hear it first. And with that, this is DOC TV Unleashed, and we're out.